I just saw a video and it said dating apps have created a horrible dynamic for men because there's select few really good looking men and they clean up on those apps. And because they clean up on those apps and they have so many options, they typically are jerks. They have a whole roster, they go from woman to woman. They have multiple women at their beck and call, so they don't really. And then the rest of the guys are on the dating apps getting no matches because all the other guys are cleaning up. And then the girls that are matching with the good-looking guys, they're saying all men are jerks because they're matching with the select few good-looking guys. And then the men are going, well, women are jerks because I'm not getting any matches. That's why apps are horrible, because you're just seeing a photo of someone. You don't know anything about the person, you don't know their personality, and personality is huge. Like, how a person is can make...
Oh, shut up.
Sweetie, dating apps are for-profit social media platforms with a matchmaking gimmick that 99.9% of you lovely ladies do not pay for. And the fact that you lovely ladies expect to find your perfect Prince Charming using a service that has pretty large operating costs that you do not pay for just goes to show how entitled a lot of modern women are. But at the end of the day, you can blame the dating apps all you want because they're not the real problem. See, I've had quite a few female acquaintances over the years, and I still do. And I've seen how you lovely ladies use dating apps. As in, you swipe left on 80 to 95% of men. 95% of the guys the dating apps are showing you are regular guys. You are the ones that choose the top 5% of men based on just photos. And let's be real, even if one of those regular guys were to approach you in public, he has the same face he posted on the dating app, he has the same job he posted on the dating app, and he'd get rejected in real life just like he did on the dating app. And yeah, you can give the tired old cliche that personality matters and it's all about what he says when he approaches you, but I've seen very eloquent, very charming dudes get rejected because of their looks before they even finish saying hello, while I've pulled women just by saying, hey, you're cute, I'd like to take you out for a burger. So face it, sweetie, the reason why modern dating is a crap show is because most of you lovely ladies only want the chads, and there aren't enough chads for all of you.
So my question is why? Why is it that the younger generation, why do you guys not do that? Why do you not walk up to women anymore? Why do you not try to go further along?
Sweetie, the lady from clip 1 outlined the problem. I've already mansplained it, but let me give you the short version. As far as the regular dudes go, a lot of women don't want them approaching anyway, and most of them won't approach you just to get rejected in public, while at the same time giving you free validation. On the other hand, the men that you do want to approach you are cleaning up on the dating apps, so they have absolutely no reason to walk up to you. So if Chad ignores you on the dating apps, but you see him in real life, you're gonna have to approach him.
Welcome to the new world.
Who's gonna protect you if all the men are gone? If all the men are gone, we won't need protection.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Sweetie, if all the men suddenly disappeared, all of civilization goes with them, and you'd probably get bodied by a rabid chipmunk.
All right. On another issue, what is the gender workplace hours gap? The agency reports a workplace gender pay gap comparing male full-time employees and female full-time employees, but male full-time employees work longer hours on average than female full-time employees. And the agency doesn't account for this when reporting a workplace gender pay gap.
Using ABS data on employee earnings and hours, the gender pay gap as at May 2016 was 15.7%. It is a survey of employees, that information from the ABS. It's not a census. And it's only conducted every 2 years. They only collect the data every 2 years. What we do is we annualise our figure to full-time. So we look at all part-time employees and full-time employees that may have worked part of a 12-month period, and we annualise that data to take into account part-time hours. So therefore we're converting the part-time hours to full-time, if you like.
So do you take into account the fact that on average a male full-time employee works longer hours than a female full-time employee?
Not directly, no.
You don't?
But we annualise the part-time hours and those that have worked full-time but for part of the year. So that way, because at the moment, what I can tell you is women work part-time at 3 times the rate of men.
Which means women work less hours than men, as the Senator stated.
So by annualising it, we are looking at a more realistic...
So you base it on annual salary?
Yeah.
What about if you did it on an hourly rate? What would be the gender hourly pay gap?
Well, we don't have that data, Senator.
You don't have that data?
No, because we ask for annualised salaries from our employers when they report their data in.
Okay, so if a woman was working fewer hours but earning the same rate per hour as a man doing the same job, would that show up as a gender pay gap?
No.
Okay, so if a woman was working fewer hours but earning the same rate per hour as a man doing the same job, would that show up as a gender pay gap?
No.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But well, then in that case, you are looking at hourly rates.
Janine Budov, Research and Analytics Executive Manager. So we do not collect the real hours that an employee might have worked. So what we do collect is the hours that are specified in a contract, and that is provided by organisations to us. If that makes sense.
Yeah. But I mean, do you annualise it on the assumption that men and women are working the same number of hours, or is it actual earnings?
It's actual earnings, and we are unable to. We don't have the data to distinguish or to then adjust for hours, because we cannot collect the real hours that employees are working.
So it's not possible to tell whether any or some of the gender pay gap is just simply attributable to a different number of hours worked. Is that right?
It depends on whether we're looking at hours that are in contract, or whether we're looking at hours that employees worked as, overtime.
Why is it you don't look at hours worked? You don't collect it, but the ABS does. It's available.
The ABS does a survey, yes.
Every 2 years.
Yes.
But again, as I say, we collect census data, that is survey data. And the other thing I would say at this stage, Senator, is just because somebody might be sitting at their desk for 12 hours a day doesn't mean you're getting 12 hours of productivity out of them, and doesn't mean that they're working in essence any harder than someone that may sit at their desk for 8 hours. So I don't think...
That's true, but they're getting paid for the 12 whether they're doing any work, or they're getting paid for however many hours they're sitting at their desk. And the issue for your agency is that if it's a male sitting at a desk, they're getting paid more than a female sitting at a desk. So the question is whether, irrespective of the hours, the question is whether for those hours for which they're getting paid, is there a difference between men and women? Bruh. So
we don't collect information on ours, Senator.
ABS does, so it's available. So if we put in a question on notice, will you access the ABS data and so you can answer that question?
Well, I did answer it earlier. I said that the ABS employee and earnings and hours data, as at May 2016, the gender pay gap was 15.7%.
That, if I understood you correctly, that's referring to annualised salary, is that right?
Not.
What's the gap based on? Per hourly rates or annual incomes or annualised incomes, or what are we talking about here?
Okay. The EEH data, so that's the employee earnings and hours data, includes all employees regardless of employment status and reflects ordinary time cash earnings. The EEH survey produces hourly earnings for non-managers and can be used to produce a gender pay gap measure inclusive or exclusive of part-time employees. The EEH data can also be configured in a variety of other ways that are useful to the gender pay gap estimates, e.g. managerial versus non-managerial employees. The big drawback from where we sit is that EEH data was identified as being, is just done on a 2-year cycle.
I don't think I can think of many men who would find it acceptable that a woman, irrespective of how many hours she's working in the day, if she's doing the same amount of work as a man, or the same job as a man, was paid any less on the basis that she's a woman. I can't think of any men who would support that. And yet, because you're not looking at hours, we don't know whether that's occurring or not. Am I right there?
Senator, I think at this stage, as I've said to you, we are unable to collect and analyse that data. There are other countries, of course, that do that, and we will...
Not even every 2 years with the ABS survey data? You could do it at least every 2 years.
They could, but you know why they probably won't? It's because they would debunk their own ideology. And if they proved there's no gender pay gap, there would be no reason for gender pay gap experts to exist, and they'd be out of a job. But you know what the funny thing is? A version of the gender pay gap actually exists, only it's not their version.
Talk about a ticker that often comes up on all our shows, it's Google. And in some surprising news about Google, some men there are underpaid. The tech giant recently conducted a study to determine if the company was underpaying minorities and women, and instead it found that many men were actually paid less money than their female counterparts for doing the same work. So this is quite the inverse of the story we are often discussing, though I don't think there will be much outrage about this. Why do I not expect much coverage?
She for he, she for he.
Sure.
Dresses for ladies.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe this is an correction. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
In light of a lot of the negative news, Google is like, yo, we're going to
we'll give
these ladies
a raise, and then oops.
And if they come asking for more, we will give it. And maybe this is great because women are feeling emboldened, where they feel like they can talk to their managers. And when they do their quarterly goals, they're like, hey, I delivered. You better compensate me
And they probably
more.
should make more than the men always at every company. Honestly.
Wow, thanks for that. That was a very PC comment.
They're always smarter and better.
So, let me get this straight. Gender-based discrimination is bad unless the people being discriminated against are men, then it's good. Yeah, crap like this is one of the many reasons why a lot of regular dudes are walking away, chads just pump and dump, and simps never get laid.
And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.